Hello, everyone, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
Hanging boy ish.
You already know what to do. As always, if you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast to make sure more people tune us in on this beautiful Sunday morning of preseason foot. I'm sorry, regular season football. I'm sorry. Let me
Wow.
get the cobwebs out.
I
My boy,
guess
your
it's
boy.
week 2, so it's
It's
still
just
early, right?
still early. Oh my goodness! Again, like I said, if you are on Facebook, please make sure you like our Facebook page, and if you are on YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for future shows.
Ding.
Thank you for that, Ish.
Oh
And as
yeah.
well, if you are on Twitter, please make sure you go ahead and follow us on Twitter, X_Williams81, to tune into our Periscope version of X Talking Ish. Alrighty then, Ish. Week one, man. I don't know what to call it other than overreaction Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because, man, the storylines that came out for every team after week one, either good or bad, I mean, it's very overblown. That's the best way I could put it. I mean, the best line I can use, of course, from week one is from Aaron Rodgers. It's one game. It's 1 week. Everybody, let's REALX. Okay, let's relax, everybody. All right, Ish, what do you think about week one?
Yeah. I mean, I do think people always do it with week 1, right? Like it's the first game of the season. It's your first look at the team this year because I mean, before that, all you can go off of is preseason, which you're really not judging anything on preseason, and then the year before. So when you get that first look at your team this season, everybody's gonna overreact a little bit. Some people are gonna claim the Cowboys gonna win the Super Bowl. Some people gonna claim the Texans gonna win the AFC South.
Ooh,
Some people are going to claim that the Eagles might just win the NFC East. Who
ooh.
knows? Everybody's going to overreact just a little bit to their team's performance. But yeah, like you said, man, let's relax. Let's wait a little bit. Let's get a couple more weeks in, and then we'll see a little bit of where teams actually are.
I say it every year. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I don't take teams seriously until week six time frame. We saw what happened last season with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, looking very shaky the first season. I mean, the first half of the season, got everything together, got things rolling, and was able to, of course, win the Super Bowl last season. So it's easy to overreact week one, week two, even week three. But we've seen teams turning around. We've seen the Colts just a couple years ago go 1-5 and win the division AFC South, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we've seen teams last season, the Pittsburgh Steelers go 11-0 and lose in the first round of playoffs. So things are not guaranteed in the NFL. Everything changes week by week. We see injuries, we see suspensions, we see COVID that will attack a football team and can alter pretty much a season. Unfortunately, we have that going on with the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we'll get to them very shortly in this show. But you have a team like the Baltimore Ravens who kind of are getting that unfortunate injury bug the same way the LA Chargers did last season, and also the 49ers, to where it pretty much detoured their season to rebuild for next year, right? And that unfortunately could be the same thing going on with the Baltimore Ravens. All right, let's go ahead and get into this week two matchups. Again, on Thursday night football, we're gonna go into that on Tuesday. Our recap show. We'll go ahead and talk more about that, and for now, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Texans versus Browns. We'll keep that very shortly. It ain't too much to really talk about, unfortunately, just due to this might be this might let's just be realish. This might be unfortunate for the Texans because the Browns are coming off of this loss against the Chiefs, and most likely they're probably going to want to take that anger out on somebody, and it might be the happy-go-lucky Houston Texans at the moment because they're coming off a big win at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people out here thought you were going to go 0-17. Right now, you start the season off 1-0. You're leading the AFC South, and you're taking on the Browns. Any cliff notes for this game, Ish?
I mean, I think that let's not overlook the way that the Texans played against the Jaguars run game at home. They did hold them to 76 yards. So if they can do something similar against the Browns, it could be an interesting game potentially, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And also, let's not overlook that this is Tyrod Taylor's somewhat homecoming to Cleveland. A couple years back, he was the starter, got a concussion. Baker Mayfield came in and never gave him the spot back. So there may be a little bit of, trying to show the Cleveland Browns, a little something, something. He came out, he was slaying the thing in the first week. So, he might just come out and do it again. Probably he's going to have to because they're going to be playing from behind. But yeah, not much to talk about here. I expect the Browns to come out, establish themselves as the clear favorite that they are, and just run away with this one.
Not gonna lie, Ish, I wasn't really thinking about that when it comes to this. Could be a game for Tyrod Taylor to say, "Hey, I'm gonna show y'all what y'all missed out on."
Yeah.
Even though this is 4 years removed now from the Browns.
I mean, yeah, it's 4 years removed, but it's still a big. I think.
Oh no, I agree.
It's still a big deal.
It's a pride game.
Yeah, he lost it because of a concussion. He didn't lose it because they wanted to put Baker in. Yeah, he lost it because he got a concussion. So.
And I definitely agree with you on that one. Right at the moment, we are both all in on the Browns. I just want to see the Texans. I want to see how they compete in this game. Mm-hmm. We don't expect them to win, but let's see how they compete because I think it can definitely be something for them to build on for the rest of the season. All right, Patriots versus Jets. I think this is a very interesting matchup because besides this being the first meeting for these two rookie quarterbacks, and who knows, maybe this can be the first of many moving forward for both of these quarterbacks meeting head to head. It's very easy to pick the Patriots in this game due to the history the Patriots have had over the Jets the last 20, 30, maybe 20, 30 years, of course. The Patriots just taking care of the New York Jets. But it's a new day. It's a new day. And it starts with the bad man. That bad man, Mr. Zachary Wilson, all right?
You're already calling him a bad man?
That bad man hold on, the nice guy, the nice Mormon from BYU. That's what I have to call. I can't call him a bad guy. He's a nice guy.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a nice guy with a bad arm, I'll tell you that. And apparently Ish got on me in the pre-show because he said, your boy taking all favors today, which I don't agree with. I don't appreciate that either. Because I'm rocking with my Jets today. The Jets, Jets. Because I feel like the Jets are going to shock people today.
Oh, my goodness.
Unfortunately, last week,
toss-up.
And I'm not mad at you for saying that, but last week they got off to a slow start. They didn't really start getting things rolling until the second half of that game. And I think the Jets being at home, I think they get their rhythm going a little faster. I think the Patriots are an overall better team than the Jets. Okay, let's not get that wrong.
Okay,
but I think if you're able to play a little keep away, run the ball, and don't mess the game up, the Jets have an opportunity to win this game if they keep it a low scoring game. But unfortunately, I do see a 10+ point win by the New England Patriots as well.
I'll just keep it short and simple. I picked the Patriots because I picked Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback. Everybody knows the record of Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks, and I think that continues. That's just it for me. I just think that ultimately you got to look at which team has the better defense, who's going to have the better scheme against the rookie quarterback, because they're both rookies coming in here. Both offenses are going to have their ups and downs, and I just think Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots – they're going to be able to scheme a little bit better against Zach Wilson and have him a little bit confused. He might start to pick it up later in the game like he did in week 1, but I think by that time it might be a little too late. Like I said, this is a 50-50 toss-up. It could go either way, but I just have to lean with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots against the Jets.
To be completely honest, I mean, I'm not mad at you at all. But as week 2, I think this is one of those divisional games that can sneak up on the Patriots. Just remember, they just lost last week to the Miami Dolphins.
By 1 point.
At this division, all 4 teams are playing each other today. So the Patriots really need this win. They do not want to go 0-2 in this division trying to compete with the Bills, because the Patriots feel like they are up there with the Bills now due to the realignment of their roster on both the offensive and defensive side. And if the Jets are able to steal this game, I think it's something that it doesn't worry you in New England, but it definitely gets your ears perking right? Because any team, doesn't matter who you are, you don't want to go down 0-2 in the division, no matter how early or late it is in the season. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another week 2 matchup, the Broncos and the Jags. Very awkward matchup, honestly, but we're going to get it in nonetheless. And Mr. Teddy Two Gloves had a pretty damn good performance last week against the New York Giants. Does that carry over to this week, Ish?
Man, possibly. I don't know. He might play okay. He might play, decent. He might be terrible. But they're going to win because their defensive line versus the Jacksonville Jaguars shambles of an offensive line is going to help them win this game. I mean, I think that defense is just going to continue the beatdown that the Texans put on the Jaguars. If the Texans can do what they did to Jacksonville, I mean, come on, the Broncos defense, it's not even going to be a competition. I expect to see some highlights from Trevor Lawrence. I expect to see plenty of low lights from Trevor Lawrence, plenty of sacks. But if the run game can help him out, maybe he'll get a little bit more consistency. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't care how he plays. They'll win the game somehow. So Teddy Two Gloves, you still got time to impress me.
It seems like he wasn't too impressive last week against a top 15 defense in the league with the New York Giants. So I guess he has to do it again to prove that he's still that guy and make Ish out here believe in.
Still Teddy what guy? Still what guy? The check down guy?
Why are you being so disrespectful right now? You okay? It's too early in the morning. It's too early in the morning for you to be disrespectful. Right. We call it. It's check down Dak, okay? That's what it's check down Dak, not check down Teddy.
No, check down Teddy.
All right.
Teddy 2 yards is what we're gonna start calling him.
No, you gonna start calling him. I ain't calling him that. The only nickname we changed out here is Daniel No Jones. I'll tell you that. All righty. The next matchup of, like I said, we talked about the AFC East. This other divisional matchup. And this is one to keep an eye out for, Ish. I think this is one of those. This is a very look, Ish. This is a trap game. I'm just saying it is what it is because I was going back and forth on this. You spoke about 50-50. This is easily a 50-50 game for me, especially the way the Bills played Week 1 against the Steelers. And to be honest with you, and I'm not mad at you for making that face and that gesture because we don't know still about the Bills and the Steelers from last week. Because we saw again. Some people, some people want to go off of what happened last year to carry it over this year. I'm somebody that want to start a clean slate over. Who cares about what happened last year? But last season sometimes do carry over, so we do have to pay attention to that. So I'm not going to knock you ever for that. With the Steelers, are they coming off of a revenge tour? Are they just going to say, "Hey, whoever wants that smoke, y'all gonna get it"? But we have to wait and see what they look like in playoff time. Are the Bills for real? Are they able to actually play well to expectation? And I think it's easy to be the team going after the hunted, but to now be the hunter and be hunted, that's a completely different ball game now. And the Patriots make it look so easy, and Tom Brady makes it look so easy that people think anybody can do it, right? And that's not the case at all. That's why we see, of course, in the NFC South, we see everybody in that division winning every other year. But besides the Saints' last 4 years, I'm talking about when they were going through their carousel of divisional winners. I'd be honest with you, Ish. I think the Bills need this win more than the Dolphins. And that's the reason why I picked them. Because if the Bills do not win this game, again, they go 0-1 into the division, and you go 0-2 on the season. And I'm not saying confidence is down because they have a veteran locker room for the most part, but just start to turn some heads and figure out what's going on here. Like, we can give up that loss to the Steelers. That's a good team. But the Dolphins, we're supposed to beat them, even though this is a away game. Ish?
I disagree with you on who needs this win more. I think the Dolphins need this win more in order to kind of establish themselves and set the tone in the AFC East as far as competing for that AFC East title. However, I do like what you said as far as the mentality. Yeah, it is a different mentality being the hunter than being the hunted, right? They are now being hunted by these teams because people see them as a team that is a competitor for the AFC Championship, the AFC title. So these teams are coming at you every single week. They're going to give you their best every single week. It's different when last year everybody was kind of counting you out. Everybody was saying, "Oh, maybe you're a team on the rise." Yeah, a team on the rise. You play with a different mentality, but a team that is supposed to be in the conversation for the AFC title, teams are coming at you differently. You have a different mentality as well. So I don't think that this is a give me game by any means, especially playing in Miami. I think Brian Flores always has that team ready to play. They always have that mentality of, hey, we're the underdogs. We need to come out here and make a statement. And we saw last week they beat the Patriots by 1 point. I think that they can always grind out these close games. So it could be a Miami Dolphins win, but I expect the Bills to win this game. I think the Bills need to win this game in order to just kind of give themselves confidence. However, I don't think that they need it more than the Dolphins because I believe if the Bills lose this game, it actually plays in their favor because people will start to count them out at 0-2. And now you then get to play that card of, hey, we're the underdogs. People think they're counting us out. They don't want us to win. Now you change the mentality in that locker room, right? Like now it's us against the world. I think right now they're kind of in the situation of riding the high of being in the AFC Championship game last year. Well, you lose this game and now it changes everything. But I don't expect them to lose this game. I expect them to bounce back from week one. They played a tough team in the Steelers. They're going to have a really tough game on their hands. But I just think that Josh Allen and that Bills team is going to bounce back so that they can win this and, remain on top of the AFC East.
Now let's remember last season. These two teams faced off at the end of the season, and the Bills gave them a thrashing. The Bills put it on them, like slap your mama disrespectful type of
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
performance. And both teams can go in this matchup either saying the Bills can say, "Hey, we can duplicate that," or the Dolphins can say, "Hey, we ain't gonna ever have that happen to us again." So I think this is a very interesting matchup. Keep your eyes out for this game. It's gonna be like you said. I agree. It's gonna be one of those grinded out type of games. It could be a 2 point game, 24-22 type of game, and we might have to be on the post game show on Tuesday and be like, damn, why I didn't pick the Dolphins. But just like we said last week with the Steelers and the Bills, we said that one's gonna win. But anyways, all right, the 49ers and the Eagles. This is a very great matchup because there are going to be a lot of eyes on this game. And I'm going to let you go ahead and start it off first, and I'll go ahead and come back and finish up what I want to say.
Yeah, the 49ers, I have them going to the Super Bowl. I think that they are a really good team. They're a really tough team. They are play really well as far as a team with their mentality. But I got the Eagles in this one. Eagles, Eagles, because the Eagles are going to shock everyone. I think that they are going to win this. They're going to carry that momentum from week one where they beat the Atlanta Falcons, not the greatest team in the world. But Jalen Hurts needed that win, I think, just to set the tone. And I think that what better way to continue, just setting that tone and letting everybody know that you are the guy for this organization than beating the 49ers at home. And that's the big thing for me. They're playing at home. If it were in San Francisco, I probably would have went the other way. But because they are playing at home, he gets the comfort of being at home. I think that they are going to continue to put the points up in attack. They have a lot of weapons, a lot of speed on the offensive side. They played really well on the defensive side in week one, even though, again, it was against the Atlanta Falcons. But when you got the seventh ranked defense total yards, I think that is a statement to make against any NFL team. And I don't like the way the 49ers ended their game against the Lions. I think that they were sloppy. I think that they gave up a lot. They didn't play too well off defensively against the Lions. So I think when you face a team like the Eagles at home who have the weapons that they have, if they play the way they should, the Eagles should win this game. I mean, I don't think that there is a question of whether or not the Eagles can compete with the 49ers. I think it's a question of the consistency. And I expect them to have that just a little bit today because it is week two and they are riding high.
I respect it, Ish. I really do. And even though I laughed at your pick when you told me that you're picking the Eagles, I respect it because any given Sunday, anything can happen. The right game plan, against the right team can bring you a dub for the day. Another factor that we talked about last week, and it's something to always keep an eye out on for both coasts, either going play from the West Coast to the East Coast or the East Coast to the West Coast. 49ers, of course, have to travel from San Fran to Philadelphia, and it's also a 1 o'clock game. So that is something to look out for.
And it's their second road game in a row. That's
Yes.
another thing to keep in mind. They played on the road last week, and they're playing on the road again this week.
This is very true. And also, as well, one thing I will say, I don't know if you've seen on social media, but Philly is filled with 49er fans at the moment. They came, they traveled. No matter if you came from Cali or if you were there in Philadelphia, repping the Niners in the first place. But they're there and they're trying to take over the city, at least for a day. And I feel like the 49ers will play a even better game that they did last week because, like you said, Ish, they did give up some points on the back end when the game was pretty much over. But I think they are going to be fine. They're going to work some of those kinks out this game. Wouldn't be surprised if I do see a turnover or two from the 49ers due to it being the second away game and a little rusty. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But the 49ers to me are just a better team.
I agree, they're a better team.
I can't take the Eagles just due to them working their little things out over there. They don't even know if they want Jalen Hurts in the first place. So we'll talk about that for another day. All right, another NFC West opponent playing against the Indianapolis Colts, the Rams versus the Colts. Ish, I'll go ahead and throw this to you. How you feel about this game?
I expect the Rams to put a shellacking on them.
Straight like that, huh?
Straight like that. I mean, Sam Bradford 2.0, I still don't have confidence in him. I didn't see enough in week 1 to really think that the Colts were going to pose any sort of threat to the Rams. So, yeah, I got the Rams putting a shellacking on them. I mean, I think I trust in Matt Stafford. I trust in that defense that the Rams have. They got arguably the best corner in the game in Jalen Ramsey. So, Rams, Colts, come on. Is this even a discussion?
The beautiful thing about what the Rams are doing with Jalen Ramsey, if you haven't been paying attention, they put him in that star position, which allows him to pretty much be the guy. Pretty much be that linebacker slash safety slash cornerback that can be all around the field and don't have to just chase the number one wide receiver. And I think that's something that the defensive coordinators have figured out, that not just with Jalen Ramsey, but with just certain defensive players, we don't have to keep him on somebody's number one receiver all game. You make a bigger impact being able to be all around the field if you're capable of doing that. We got a guy in Arizona like Isaiah Simmons. You know, you got a guy like Jalen Ramsey. You also have a guy maybe like in LA with Derwin James. Tyrann Mathieu, thank you. You have certain guys that are probably able to do it. Not everybody's able to do it and play that star position, but I definitely think this position was made perfectly for a guy like a Jalen Ramsey because it just makes his presence on the field just that much greater. Yep. Because he's not somebody that just, I'm just going to cover you, I'm not going to tackle you. No, he's going to bring that. He ain't gonna slant that. He gonna bring that thing. If you know what I mean, you feel me? He gonna bring that hit stick. So with that being said, I think this defense was already great. You do that for Jalen Ramsey, I mean, it makes it that much better to me. Yes, they played the Bears Sunday Night Football, and we're not going to really read too much off of that, but let's see how they play against the Colts. The Colts are a better offense to me, I think, than the Bears. And if the Rams are able to hold them under 21 points, that's a good defensive showing. 21 points, 20 to 21 points, then be on the lookout, Ish. I mean, maybe Rams Niners Super Bowl, Rams Niners NFC Championship game, or Rams Buccaneers NFC Championship game, because the Rams are here and they are for real.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Another West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. And I think this is another game to check out to see. Forget the Steelers. Are the Raiders for real? Because we saw what happened on Monday Night Football ish. And when you talk about sloppy, I mean, that was two fat pigs and a pin hog out here rolling around in the mud. For my southern folks out here, messy. That's what it was because, I mean, they lost the game twice. I'm sorry, won the game twice.
Yeah.
Almost lost it. And, of course, she was able to put on a show for the Vegas crowd because that's what Vegas is about, putting on a show. But you can't do that against the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. You're not going to be able to get away with that crap that you got away with against the Baltimore Ravens with all the pieces that they're missing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, again, at home too. Look, there are a lot of Raider fans that like to bring up Derek Carr's stats. We brought it up last week about him being the highest passer yardage in Raiders history and all that stuff, but when it comes to Derek Carr, he just does not get the job done when it's time to get the job done. And if he wants to prove everyone wrong, and I'm not talking about just with one game, I'm talking about for the rest of the season. This is a start. Show us today that we can take you, Derek Carr, and this Las Vegas Raiders team seriously, because at the moment, I don't.
Well, for me, I'm picking the Steelers because I respect Mike Tomlin. I respect the Steelers at home. Honestly, though, they didn't do too much to really make me feel confident in this pick. I actually was kind of back and forth on this. The reason being is the Steelers only had 252 yards against the Bills in week 1. That was good enough for 29th ranked offense. So you got the 29th ranked offense versus a defense that played fairly well against the Baltimore Ravens. I also think that the Raiders, they played okay. Derek Carr played okay. He didn't do too much to make me concerned. He did a lot to make me feel he's the same guy that we always thought he was, but he didn't do anything to make me feel concerned. So I think that this game will actually be a lot closer than people think it's going to be. I could even see the Raiders coming out with a win against the Steelers. But a combination of the Steelers being at home, Mike Tomlin preparing his team, getting an extra day on the Raiders, and not to mention the Raiders, they expended a lot of emotion in that week 1 win. I mean, there was so much that went into that, so much energy that went into it. I just think that on the bounce back of that Monday night win, it's just a little too much to then have to travel on the road and play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. So that's why I went with the Steelers, but definitely expect the Raiders to give them a good game.
There's a lot there. There's a lot, and everything that you're saying is very true. I mean, that's 100% correct when it comes to the emotions part. It's a lot of energy that was thrown out there. It was an overtime game. I mean, it's a lot. Yes, of course, they rehabbed, they recovered. Yes, they're fine. But like it said, all these little things matter. I know when some people watch football, people just think, oh, just show up and go play. You know, just this is Little League football. All you need to do is just get a car to travel to the stadium and go out there, you spoiled athletes. Like, what are you crying about? You just play football. No, this is a grind. For people that haven't played before, before the season even starts, preseason, off season. I mean, the things that go into prepping for football is intense, and every week matters. And that's another reason why I think people love football very much, is because you only have a small slate compared to baseball or even basketball with the 82 games, and every week definitely does matter. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of every week matters, this is a very important game for both of these teams. I know it's not a sexy matchup at all, the Bengals versus the Bears, but it's a very, very important game because reports are already coming in saying that Justin Fields will be getting more playing time in this game.
Yes.
Yes, report did come out just about an hour ago saying Justin Fields will be getting more playing time. Now, that starts the clock on when Justin Fields really becomes a full-time starter-ish. I know I've said, and they've said on TV from time to time, that maybe they want to work him in in Detroit. Against Detroit week 4, and that'll be his starting debut against Detroit at home. Or maybe it could be in week 2. Maybe if Andy Dalton doesn't prove or show a little something against the Bengals, who no knock to the Bengals at all, but the Bears as a whole should be better than the Bengals on what they're trying to do as a team. If the Bengals win this game, which shout out to you, Ish, for making this pick, we seriously gonna have to look at the Bengals. We seriously gonna have to start looking. I'm not talking about winning the division or winning a playoff. I'm just saying we have to start looking at them like maybe they might be a year closer than what we thought they were going to be. Maybe it might not take them 2 or 3 years. Maybe it might take them a year or 2, because we've seen teams be able to turn it around after a year or 2 of drafting and being able to put the right pieces around, right? So with the Bengals, who's your favorite wide receiver, Ish? If you want to go throw that out for me one more time.
Oh, Chad Ochocinco.
Okay, and last time that I remember my boy Chad Ochocinco and TJ Who's Your Mama and Carson Palmer was out here balling for the Bengals have some pretty decent years. They didn't win no playoff games like that, multiple playoff games, or went to the AFC Championship game.
Carson Palmer getting hurt in the playoffs. That kind of ended that. But they were trending in the right direction.
Okay, there. So why not? Why not the Bengals? And I'll give you another tidbit. I know we got some young folks on here that listen to this show, but the Bengals have actually been in a Super Bowl before. That's something that the Texans can't say, the Jacksonville Jaguars can't say. There's another the Detroit Lions has been out here since 1902. At least the Bengals have been to a Super Bowl, right? And I don't care too much for their ownership and the GM. I'm pretty sure they're still figuring that out. But at least you got a good start with Joey Burrow coming back, looking decent, slinging that thing week 1. And if they can again carry that momentum, I just want to see how they look, man. I just want to see. I'm impressed.
I expect the Bengals to continue to attack this. Like I said, a playoff defense, but a declining playoff defense in Chicago. I think they got a lot of weapons on the offensive side, I think that they are very much a team on the rise. They're a team heading in the right direction. Now, are they able to continue to put the pieces in place, set their people in the right positions to make the kind of plays? We'll have to wait and see. Very much early days for the Bengals, but I do expect for them to take advantage of a declining Chicago Bears defense. And the Chicago offense, everybody already knows how I feel about their offense. With Andy Dalton starting at quarterback, I don't think they're a threat at all. I don't think Andy Dalton does anything for you. I think he hinders your offense. I think he hurts your offense. And I expect the Bengals defense to do okay against them. I don't expect them to light the world on fire, but I expect them to do just enough to contain them just enough that this offense that they have with all these weapons is going to put enough points up to beat the Bears. That's all I think is going to happen. I expect that to happen. I could see maybe the Bears rallying around Andy Dalton, having a lot of – the thing is they got a lot of respect for themselves as far as they think that they are a playoff team and they think they have a playoff Super Bowl winning defense, right? They believe they have a Super Bowl winning defense. And I expect those players to react to last week and want to come out and make a statement at home in Chicago. But I just don't think that they are going to do it. I think that the Bengals will somehow find a way. They're a young team that I think they're going to ride the wave, right? They're a young team that they have that swag. They're just going to come out. They don't have any respect. They are like, to me, they're like the young kid that comes into the team. And like they don't got any respect for who you are or what your history is or who you were last year. Who cares? We're gonna come in, we're gonna make a noise, we're gonna, dance out, we're gonna gritty out on
gritty, yeah. I knew that was coming.
That's all it is. So, I expect that to happen.
I'm not mad at your take. I agree again with that last part. You ain't got nothing to lose. Go out there and go have some fun. Go play. Yeah. Go get you some chemistry going and go have you some fun. One thing I will say, though, you're going to stop disrespecting Red Rifle. Katie Great, okay? Katie, Texas, Tiger, Great, Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. You're not going to keep doing that, sir. All right? Because you got this eyes. You know. as Drake would say.
He needs to go sit down somewhere, be the backup. Your time has ended.
Alrighty then. Katy, Texas, Dallas, Texas. Anyways. In another NFC South matchup, the Saints versus the Panthers. Ish. Surprisingly, I don't think this is going to be just a runaway game for the Saints because if you haven't seen just yet, or if you haven't seen last week, the Saints coaches contracted COVID. It was 6. It ended up now being 8 staff members are not able to be at the game. So it seems like they're going to be coaching from Zoom or coaching from whatever media broadcast they're going to be doing from that. And I think that's something that we do have to look out for. Overall, as a team, I feel like the Saints are better than the Panthers, but with them having COVID and not being able to be there, was that something that's going to hinder the Saints team, especially on the offensive side of the ball? Because, of course, most of them were offensive coaches. Is this something that's going to hinder them from winning this game? Even though, of course, Jameis threw for 5 touchdowns, it was still the lowest yardage game in NFL history for a 5-touchdown game, 148 yards. So for Jameis, let's be real. People out here that still don't believe in him. He could throw 15 touchdowns in the game, and they're still going to be like, oh, he threw 30 picks. Again, I don't know why people keep bringing that up, but, hey, people want to keep bringing up Carson Wentz's greats in 2017. So, hey, people want to live on the past. That's on them. And with Jameis, this isn't going to be the game that's going to prove to everybody that he's back. It's going to be the Tampa Bay game. When he played Tampa Bay, that's going to be the game that we're going to have to say, you know what? Jameis is for real. But with this game, do you see maybe a little maybe an upset from the Carolina Panthers that they can maybe squeeze this one out?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So not even 50-50 on this one. It ain't 50-50 close.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I mean, it was kind of close last season. If you look at the scores last season from when these two teams played, the Saints swept the series 27-24 in the first game and then 33-7 in the second game. And that's kind of where it is for me. I just don't see the Panthers winning this game. One thing that people are overlooking, or I think that we're not talking enough about, is this Saints defense was really good last year, and they only came out in – I mean, they're the top-ranked defense in the league after week 1 because of what they did to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, a team that a lot of people were picking to go to the NFC Championship game. So when they're doing this against a team that's supposed to go to the NFC Championship game, what are we expecting from Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers? I'm not expecting a lot. I'm not expecting them to come out and do anything. But I will say this. If Sam Darnold comes out and he plays the kind of game that he needs to play, and what I'm saying is, they established the run with Christian McCaffrey. They get the play action pass. Robbie Anderson, we know what threat he is over the top, especially in the play action game. If they are able to do that and Sam Darnold plays solid enough to keep the Panthers in this game, we need to look at Sam Darnold a little bit different in this Carolina Panthers team and think this team could be a year away from competing on the NFC side, not for the NFC Championship, but competing as far as, competing for these playoff spots, competing in the NFC South, bringing a little bit more of what we know the NFC South used to be, from last to first to worst. You could start to get a little bit back to that because Tom Brady doesn't have many more years left in this league, number one.
Well, maybe 6. Maybe 6. He said he won't play till 50.
Maybe potential. And number 2, this team last year, they played a lot of close games and lost a lot of those games by 1 possession. So they are not a team that's just horrible. I think that they just need the right guy at quarterback. Is Sam Darnold that guy? We still need to wait and see. But that's why I want to see in this game how he is able to play against this defense. If he does enough to keep them close, then I am really going to start looking at the Carolina Panthers as a team that might just be a year or 2 away from starting to compete again in the NFC South.
Now, the thing about the Carolina Panthers, like you said with Sam Darnold, a lot of people just do not believe in Sam Darnold just due to his history with the Jets, and it's understandable. I got that.
That's fair.
Exactly. But like I've said since the beginning, with him being able to have a new start with the Carolina Panthers, it's on him. Like this is on you to show everybody else that you are worthy of that first-round draft pick for the Jets. in to be that guy. Before we finish off on this topic, because they had this talk at the barbershop, Robbie Anderson, is he a number one wide receiver or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He's really good, but I don't think he's a true number one.
No, and I'm not mad at that at all. I think he's a number one for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, oh definitely.
So
for
he
the Panthers, he fits it for the Panthers. But
yes, but if he was on somebody else's offense, he'd definitely probably be a 2. He'll be a slot guy, working off that number one wide receiver. Yes, so that's my like. People have to understand you can't compare the Chiefs' offense, what they do, to what the Jags do. You can't compare. Everybody's offensive or even defensive situation is different. So for what the Saints bring is completely different what the Panthers are going to bring, right?
Well, I would even argue he's not a number one on the Panthers. Like, he is technically their number one receiver, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh,
Christian McCaffrey's their number one
technically,
receiver.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, Christian McCaffrey's the number one receiver, and then the other guys, they end up getting the looks that they get because of what Christian McCaffrey does to the defense, right? Like, they don't have a true number one, but the receivers are able to thrive in that system because of, what Christian McCaffrey brings to that system. So that's why they kind of are able to still do what they do. But Moore's not a number one. Anderson's not a number one. Curtis Samuel wasn't a number one. I think that all these guys, Terrace Marshall may be the closest thing they have to a number one receiver as a rookie. He just needs his time, right? So, maybe he builds into that role and that builds that receiving core up to be more of what you expect him to be, with Terrace Marshall, the true number one threat as far as the possession guy. And then you got Moore, who's able to do a little bit here and there, and then Anderson beating people over the top. But for right now, I don't think, Anderson's not a number one. He just happens to be in a system that Christian McCaffrey puts enough pressure on people that he can beat people over the top and make some of these plays that he makes.
I respect it. I'm not mad. Speaking about beating people over the top, I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers are going to do that plenty of times today against the Atlanta Falcons, the second matchup of the NFC South divisional game. And we're pretty much all in on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of especially what we saw last week from the Atlanta Falcons. If they only going to put up 6 points a game, it is not going to be a good season. Again, that was against the Eagles. No disrespect to the Eagles, but they're not the Buccaneers on defenses. They're the Eagles probably top 10 defense, but the Buccaneers top 5. So with that being said, this could get real ugly. This really could get ugly. We know how Tom Brady is when it comes to being petty. He already, of course, put that video out with the background of 28-3, with the little hints of pettiness in his video. And Tom Brady's going to do what he always does when it comes to reminding people that I'm better than Matt Ryan. So that's just what I see from this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say here. The Buccaneers going to win this one very easily.
Alrighty then. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on with the next game of the night. Vikings versus Cardinals. Well, if we're going off of last week, then this game also should probably not be a good one at all. Because, and on a serious note, the Vikings need to get it together. The Vikings really need to get it together, or I think this season will be a wash, and Captain America Cousins will be playing somewhere else next season, because it's no way that you have all of this talent. You've had all this talent, Minnesota Vikings, for not just a year or two, or years, for like decades now, dating back to the Purple People Eaters, even to the late 1990s and also in the mid 2000s. When it comes to some of these teams, I mean, it just seems like, I wouldn't say they're cursed or anything like that, but we got to call them sometimes can't get right. I just don't understand why the Minnesota Vikings are just not able to put all the pieces together from time to time, right? That's just the best way I can look at it.
Well, for me, I think that I actually think that they're going to play the Cardinals a lot better this week than the Cardinals got a game against the Titans. But I just think that the Cardinals are more of a playoff team. They're more of a team that's on the cusp of being one of the top teams in the NFC. And I think because of that, that's why I have the Cardinals winning this game. But I think what was overshadowed by the loss that they had last week is that the Vikings actually have the 12th ranked defense in the league. So it's not like they got blown out by the Bengals. It's not like they played the Bengals poorly. They just got beat by the Bengals. Like what came of it is they just weren't able to put the points together to win that game, right? They lost 24-27. To me, it wasn't as bad as people thought it was, but because it was the Bengals, people blew it out of proportion to make it seem like it was something else, right? And I think that they should give the Cardinals a better game than the Titans gave them last week. But I do think that the Cardinals are there. Like for me, they need to win these type of games when we're talking about competing in the NFC West, where remember that whole division went undefeated in week 1. You have to keep pace with the rest of these teams. And in order to do that, you got to win these games that you should win. And that's why I have the Cardinals winning this game. Because I think that they realize, I think Cliff Kingsbury realizes it, Kyler Murray realizes it. Like, you got to win these types of games, and they're going to win it.
Like you talked about with that division, we got the 49ers playing the Eagles. We got the Cardinals playing the Vikings. You also got the Seahawks, of course, playing the Titans. Hey, this is a very, very, very competitive division, and only the strong will survive in that division. And before, of course, you get to these divisional matchups where you're going to be destroying each other, you have to take care of your business outside of the division for the teams, either, again, the Cardinals or the 49ers, because if you don't, some of those games that you took for granted might sneak up on you week 15, week 16, week 17, to where it could have either hosted a playoff game. So you could be on the road or you could be hosting a playoff game. That's how slim of margins that could be for that division. So it'll be very interesting to see. I just overall, the Cardinals to me are a better team. I think they keep that momentum with Kyler Murray, what they did to the Tennessee Titans last week. And I wouldn't be surprised if those for 4 touchdowns. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Alrighty then, let's go ahead and move on to the Tennessee Titans and the Seahawks. Another, like I said, NFC West game. And I'm not going to go off of last week. I'm not going to go off of anything. I'm just going to go off of straight. The Seahawks are a better team at the moment. Seahawks are a better team. Their wide receiver core, y'all need to be on the lookout for that, because they are probably going to have a field day against these Tennessee Titans DBs. It is not fair right now. It is going to be very disrespectful. And if Tyler Lockett was able to do what he was able to do last week, this is not going to be a good game for me. So, with that being said, I've already said since Monday morning last week, the Titans are not going to win this game. Okay? Titans going on 2. Everybody's going to laugh at me. That's perfectly fine. I got y'all. I love y'all too. Bring it at me. I'm not mad at y'all. But the Seahawks, could we start seeing the MVP Russ in midseason form in week 2-ish?
I don't know if it's necessarily time to talk MVP Russ or midseason form. I think that this game is definitely not the game to judge that off of, because they're playing against this terrible Titans secondary that I expect him to torch them. I mean, I'm not even going to mince my words right here. I expect him to torch them, because after seeing what Kyler Murray was able to do against them, I expect Russell Wilson to just continue to beat down on this secondary and just go ahead and let them know, like, come on, guys, y'all need to do something, figure it out. This is very much a gut check for the Tennessee Titans. They need to show something. Because after what happened in week 1, a lot of people are looking at them like, man, you guys were supposed to be contenders, and like, what happened? And then to follow that up against Seattle, this is really a statement of who you are. To me, this is a statement more so, not necessarily of you got to win this game, but how you play this game. It's a pride game. Yeah, it's a pride game, man. It's how you play this game says a lot about how your team looks to move forward in this season. Because while, it's early in the season, going 0-2 isn't going to kill you, especially in the AFC South. I do think that for a team that, a lot of people thought maybe they could go to the AFC Championship game, maybe they could go to the Super Bowl, maybe with Julio Jones, he was the missing piece to help them, over the hump. And then for you to come out and lay an egg like you did in week 1, this is a statement of where your pride lies on the Tennessee Titans. And I'm interested to see how they played the Seattle Seahawks. But I don't expect them to win the game. But I do want to see them play them a lot better than they did Arizona.
Like I talked about with the Buffalo Bills being the hunter and the hunted, Tennessee Titans are the same way. They don't know how to act when it comes to being the hunter. They don't at all. I watched this team for the last 20 years. This is my team. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. They do not know how to act when they are on top and you win a game and then all of a sudden you lose a game you ain't supposed to lose. Okay, it's on the players, the coaching staff, the organization to, like you said, this is a gut check game. I don't expect for them to win, but I say this: if they do win, the way they win this game, no turnovers, keep the ball away from Russell Wilson, run the ball, and just be more physical. That's the way that you're going to win this game. Do I expect that to happen? They can. I just don't know yet. That's the thing, and I'm not too confident. Just I mean, who knows? Maybe Vrabel went in there in the field room last week and ripped them a new a hole. And sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you need that wake up call early in the season to say, hey, we're not as good as we thought we were, right? Ish?
Definitely.
We've seen that happen in football for football teams all the time. All right, Cowboys and Chargers, another interesting matchup, I think, because and I'll just say my spiel and I'll let you go, Ish. We saw what happened with the Chargers last week when they traveled from the West Coast to the East Coast and took care of the Washington football team. Unfortunately, with Ryan Fitzpatrick being on IR after that game, but for me, I feel like that was a great look for the Chargers for us to maybe, again, not overreaction, but maybe start taking them a little seriously when it comes to that is another team that is not 2 or 3 years away. Maybe they are only a year or two away because of that bad sunshine of a man, Mr. Justin
You
Herbert.
can't keep calling everybody a bad man.
Everybody bad, all right? It's Michael Jackson over here, son. Okay? Who's bad, all right? With that being said, Mr. Herbert, I think because of the performance he put on last week with the Washington football team, I think it carries over. Unfortunately, Demarcus Lawrence has a broken foot. He'll be out. Lavelle Collins will be out 5 games due to drug policy situations. He's still getting that cleared up. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. He is appealing today, so maybe he will be back for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys just overall have a little bit more injuries than they want to at this moment. And going into this game, it's going to be a electric game. They're playing in LA. This is their season opener for the Chargers, and the Cowboys are going to play well. I just think they come up short. I think it's going to be a 3-point ball game, and they just come up a little short.
I agree. I agree with a lot of what you said. The injuries are a big miss. The suspension's a big miss. I think that one of the things that made it, for me an easier pick is that you got the 26th ranked defense versus a top 10 offense. The Chargers are a serious threat on offense. And this has nothing to do with my faith in Dak, because Dak, I think, is going to continue to play well. I think that offense is going to be a little shaky because they are playing against a top 5 defense. The Chargers, a lot of people don't want to give them the respect, but they play a really, really good defensive game. They are a really good defensive team. They've got the pieces in place to make the plays on the defensive side. I think that for me, playing at home, having a stingy defense, that's what's going to make the difference. And then it's the offense, right? It's going to be close, like you said. But I think ultimately, when you look at the two teams and you look at the matchup, I just think that the Chargers have the easier matchup against that Dallas defense, and they'll find a way to score a little bit more than the Cowboys. Like, if it comes down to it, the Cowboys just aren't going to have enough to score, or even if it's a shootout, right? I don't think they'll have enough to score against this Charger offense that Justin Herbert is showing that, hey, I got this sophomore. It's not even a sophomore slump. He about to have a sophomore coming out party.
Sophomore slang.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that they continue on the winning train. They win 2-0, and then Cowboys look to bounce back moving forward.
All right, let's go ahead and move on with The Sunday night football matchup of the night. The Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Ish, I'm going to go ahead and let you start this one off first.
This one was a rough one for me. As much as I wanted to just jump on the Chiefs and say like, oh yeah, the Chiefs, they're gonna put a whooping on them. I don't know. Against the Chiefs, the Ravens tend to play okay. They play them pretty closely. As you remember, last year these two teams met and the Chiefs won 34-20. So by 2 scores, and I think it might be similar to that. I think it's going to be 2 scores again, but I expect it to be a hard-fought game from the Ravens. I expect for them to come out to play them hard. I expect Lamar to come out and try to run the ball a lot, put pressure on this Chiefs defense, who last week did not do well against the run against the Cleveland Browns. Now, it's a different running attack than the Cleveland Browns, but I think that it's a more potent running attack from the stance of it's harder to stop Lamar running the ball out of the backfield, especially on broken pass plays, right? Like, you got to get pressure on him up front, which is what we saw the Raiders do in order to keep him from leaving the pocket. The Chiefs weren't putting much pressure on Baker Mayfield other than a couple of spot areas. And that's my concern. If you're not able to get that pressure on him up front, you may not have it as far as stopping him leaving the pocket and breaking some of these big gains. So that's what I'm watching out for. But I think that Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense is going to be too much for this Baltimore defense. I just think they're not going to be able to stop them. There's too many weapons. There's too many things. And I didn't see enough pressure on Derek Carr to make me think that you're going to do the one thing that can hurt this Chiefs offense, which is get pressure with the front four and not rely on blitzes and things of that nature.
I'm so disappointed in you, Ish. I'm so disappointed in you.
What?
You said all that. You said all that and didn't even mention two of the biggest main reasons that the Chiefs are going to take care of business on Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
The debut of the Honey Badger and Mr. Frank Clark.
Yeah. We still got to wait and see.
We got to say, wait and see for what? Frank Clark was doing the business in preseason. He was taking care of business. And it's going to carry over. Frank Clark, the very underrated defensive lineman. If anything, he's on par with Cam Hayward when it comes to being as good but not getting the appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Clark is there. I mean, it's ridiculous some of the things that he's able to do.
He makes a difference for sure.
Of course. And with him coming back in Tyrann Mathieu, this game is going to be a thrashing. I know you feel like it's going. Yeah. You want to know why?
Wow.
You want to know why?
Why?
But first of all the injuries Baltimore have, not just on the offense side of the ball, but also defense side of the ball. Marcus Peters, who gonna cover that? Who gonna cover everybody for the Kansas City Chiefs? Okay. With that being said, the Baltimore Ravens want Lamar Jackson to not just pass the ball, but also run the ball. They want him to do everything. Okay, not everything, but everything. And with that being said, this is only week 2. We just saw what he did week 1, exhausting himself to take a L. They keep on doing this to Lamar. He's not going to finish the season. I know everybody loves watching him. He's electrifying. He's Michael Vick 2.0. He's this, he's that. They are going to run him into the ground. But it's okay, though. Everybody loves Lamar. They love watching him run. Okay. You heard it here on XtalknIsh. When they run his ass to the ground and he's not able to finish out the season, I'm going to sit here and just sit back and I'm going to have my big ass Cuban cigar and be like, I told you so.
Luckily for them, they got a bad man behind them. I mean, since you've been everybody bad man.
Anywho, we're gonna go ahead.
I'm just gonna give him a bad man label.
You gotta earn that label. Son.
Zach Wilson has earned that label.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Preseason. You don't see what it's in the preseason, baby. I'm kidding. All right. And of course, the Monday Night Football game will actually be on tomorrow night during halftime to recap the first half of the Lions-Packers. We're just gonna give you a brief little preview. We are not going to show our picks until tomorrow. Lions, Packers. How you feel about this game, Ish?
What preview is there to give? It's the Packers versus the Lions. Anybody picking the Lions, I mean, something wrong with you, okay? It's the Packers versus the Lions. I don't care if the Packers got beat and didn't score any points. I don't care if they had negative points. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers had a negative QBR in week 1. It's the Packers versus the Lions. I don't even want to say anything about this. I don't want to cover this game. Again, the NFL with this nonsense scheduling. Like, why are you putting the Lions on Monday Night Football against the Packers? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see this game. I don't even want to watch this game. Y'all going to be lucky if we come on a halftime and I know anything about what's happening in this game because I don't want to watch it. It's going to be garbage. It's going to be the Packers whipping up on the Lions.
100% correct. The one thing though I will say is I will be watching on ESPN2 because I'm gonna be watching my boys Peyton and Eli break down the game. You can roll your eyes all you want to. It's entertaining, it's beautiful, and I love the way my big forehead friend, the next NFL commissioner, Peyton Manning, is going. Yeah, I said what I said. Is breaking down the game and is making it fun, making it lively, bringing in guests to watch the game with them. I love it. I think it's great. I was hoping Peyton Manning maybe one day would be the host of Monday Night Football, but hey, this is second best that we know we can take at the moment. All right, ain't too much to say about that game. I'm just happy that the NFL went ahead and put the Lions on early in the season, so we don't have to watch them week 15. Unfortunately, we do have to watch them Thanksgiving, but yeah, you know how that goes. Anywho. Again, this is the week 2 preview show for this upcoming week. We will see y'all on Monday night after the first half of the Monday Night Football game. And, of course, our regular time on Tuesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Other than that, is there anything to say before we head up out of here?
No.
All right. Y'all enjoy y'all football day. I know I will for mine. And,